Hello, Virgo, and welcome to your mid-March love reading. I'm Jade with yesYesYes, and we're going to do these. I do these mid-March to mid-April, so we're going to use the Mystical Lenormand deck today, and the Line Strider deck today, just to see what's going on for love relationships. And I've pre-shuffled everything, so I'm going to see where the magic is. I'm looking for the masculine and the feminine to see that connection. Okay, and let me know if you are resonating with this. Drop me a comment in the box below. And as always, if you are feeling it, hit that like button. I appreciate it so much. All right, let's see where we begin here for Virgo in March 2019. Okay, so I'm going to lay these down just looking for the masculine and the feminine cards, and then we'll see, there's the feminine, we'll see how they lay out in between each other. Okay, so the feminine, there's the Tower and the Sun. Oh, and there's the masculine. Ooh, I like this. Short story, short and sweet. Okay, this is all in there. So it looks like we have the feminine, and we have the Tower. So sometimes that means that the feminine's working in corporate. It can also mean that she is hiding herself, that she's been locked away. And then we had the Sun, and then there's the masculine. And the Sun is, the masculine's very successful. He's feeling really good. So what I'm feeling here is that the meeting point we're going to kind of go into more with the next deck, but I'm feeling like the feminine, see in this tower, there's this woman kind of locked away in the tower. I'm feeling like, Virgo, that the feminine's kind of been locking herself up, really holding back, maybe even just taking stock of what's going on in life. There's been a need for that, a lot of need for that. This winter has been a really reflective winter. We're also still in Mercury retrograde, and that is highly affected, or you are highly affected by that, with it being your ruling sign, your ruling planet. So feminines, if you have, and maybe you are in corporate and just kind of really been working on yourself, right? Thinking about work, not engaging in being social. Okay, this is what is in between you two, is that the feminine might, and this can be more than corporate. It can be institutional, like health. So maybe you are a doctor or nurse, psychologist, anything that is a larger institution, even education, right? So you could be a teacher, you could, working for a very large conglomerate. So you've really just been focused on yourself, work, and taking stock of what you really want in life. For the masculine, I'm feeling like he is feeling his success, feeling his warmth, and feeling his joy. It's interesting because for the masculine Virgo, he might have not had to take stock in work because he's not had that issue. And he might have also been traveling to a place of, being warm over the winter months. Where in the North America, so it would be winter time. If you're in South America, it'd be opposite. But I'm feeling like the masculine is really set and feeling successful. And it might be that he's also connected to his work and feeling that success, okay? So we'll find out how the two come together. But there's also this interesting thing about, it looks like the feminine is moving towards the masculine this month. That's how I usually read that line, okay? I'm going to change this. I don't know. Yeah, you can still see it. So it's all good. We can still see it. Okay. So the Line Strider deck, here we are. I have pre-shuffled these as well. And what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for the joint card, the card that is the beginning of it all. Here we go, the Moon. I like this. So the Moon is our emotions, but it's our intuition, and also it can be the illusionment, right? The disillusionment even. So just, we want to make sure that we're looking at reality. And I feel like Virgos, you do a really good job of seeing things as they truly are. I feel like that's what's been going on for this feminine, is that she's been looking at, this is my life, this is my work, this is what's really important to me. For the masculine, feeling like success in general, just feeling good is important to him. Making sure that we're seeing the reality of the situation and not being misled by our emotions. Okay, so what else do we have for the Virgos? Okay, I'll take that jumper. And I need one more, please. One more for Virgo. Okay, all right, so for the feminine, we have the Seven of Cups, and it came out in the reverse. So that means that, again, we're talking about this illusion, this disillusionment, right? So the Seven of Cups, when it's in the upright, it talks about there being many choices. When it's in the reverse, and also it's about, maybe we're, deluding ourselves into thinking there are many choices. When it's in the reverse, it again talks about the reality, the truth of things. And I feel like that's what's really important to you right now, Virgo, feminine, is really looking at the truth. And this could be because in the past, you might have been taken for a ride, or someone might have ghosted you. That happens so frequently these days. But I'm feeling like these cups, you're just letting them go, right? You're just letting all of this illusion go and really starting to embrace what truly is. And this, again, it can be that maybe it was a big birthday year. So, we've gone from our 20s to our 30s, or our 30s to our 40s, or our 40s to our 50s. And so, really embracing the fact that there's a new era, there's a new way of being for you, feminine. For the masculine, we have the Empress. The Empress card came out in reverse. So let's talk about this. It's the Empress is, it's the card of receiving, and she is the nurturer. She is the card of pregnancy, the card of creativity, and it's about drawing in. And it's interesting that it came out in the reverse. So perhaps what we're finding now is that the masculine is really stepping into his power of creative action, not receiving, but doing. And I don't feel like the Virgo would have much issue with this, but this could just be what, again, we're talking about the energy that we're really at, and then we'll continue to go in through the story. So the masculine is really in the energy of doing, making creative action, doing things in the world that are successful. Okay, the next cards that came out, King of Swords in the reverse. So we're making sure that we're watching our words, but we're tempering them with compassion, feminine. And I do like that a lot. Making sure that we speak our truth, but in a way that can be heard and felt so that we aren't shut out, right? We're not burning bridges. So it's the need to speak the truth. Maybe it's even what's been going on and what you've been processing, and that truth is coming forward now. You're ready to speak it in a compassionate way. With it also being in the reverse, it can mean that there have been some burning of bridges through your words, and maybe that's the feeling of why that has been some, you've pulled back, you felt maybe isolated or in, being a loner, is because when you did speak your truth, maybe, or, later in the last year, that some people just kind of dropped out because they didn't like hearing the truth, or it wasn't received with compassion. Okay, for the masculine, we've got the Ten of Swords also in the reverse. I do like this in the reverse. This is that card that it just looks like it's you've been backstabbed, right? That's what we think about it. But it's also, it's overdone. It's overly dramatic, right? One stab in the back's enough. That's going to kill you. You don't need 10. And when you're there for 10, when it's kind of like playing all the violins, and that it's a sad sob story when you take that energy on. And I feel like the masculine's turning that energy off. Like, let these swords come out. I don't need to feel this way. So perhaps in the past, the masculine has gone through a situation that felt like he had been stabbed in the back, and it can be work related. I'm not seeing quite what it's related to, but because this is a love reading, I can talk about it being a relationship, and that in the past perhaps the masculine Virgo was cheated on, and even in the feminine, we talked about that a bit, but the masculine could have been cheated on or deceived. It's hard to deceive a Virgo, but lied to, and perhaps in a way that, you were so open-hearted that it took you by surprise, masculines. And so I think now you're at a place where you're feeling successful because you have moved past that energy of feeling taken down by this relationship, taken down by this past. I think you've processed through it and you're ready to move forward, which is beautiful. Now, feminine, I think that you're moving past whatever has made you feel in isolation. Oh, look at that. So this is good. Oh, both swords. Okay. So we've got the Ace of Swords now for the feminine. We were just talking about this truth coming out, right? So if the truth came out in the past and it wasn't received very well and it got you into an isolated place, I feel like now it's time to even speak the truth about what happened, right? So if you had a break with relationship, break with your friends and your community, or even at work, coming out, talking about what happened, and think about it. We have to be really compassionate. We can't just say whatever, because that will shut people out, right? It will shut people down from feeling like they can connect with us. And why would they afterwards, right? Especially because Mercury's in retrograde right now. Being aware of how powerful words can be with this Ace of Swords. This is a new conversation, okay? So this is a new conversation for you, feminine. Maybe it's that, we're healing this isolation. We're talking about things, saying your truth. Maybe it's that you've been journaling and now you're reading your journals. You know what I mean? Something that's revealing this process you've been going through so that everyone knows. And that brings the compassion forward because you're speaking your truth. For the masculine, interesting that the Two of Swords came up in the reverse. I do like that. So there was a decision that was made and you don't have to struggle about it anymore. And we're going to go back to what you've been going through. Getting rid of those swords in your back, really getting into a place of taking action, okay? Not allowing for anything in the past to take you down, because you really want to feel successful. You want to feel like you can win at relationship. And I'm feeling like there was just something that just didn't work out. It actually could have been with a Taurus or a Libra in the past, but it just didn't work out, and you are releasing that. You're releasing that struggle, releasing that inability to decide if that person is the one, just moving forward from it. I like that. Okay, now we have the Seven of Swords for the feminine. This card is it's about stating your boundaries. So if we're speaking clearly about what's been going on for you, feminine, you're going to be stating your boundaries really clearly. Oh, I might have said swords, but this is wands. So Seven of Wands is stating the boundaries really clearly and making sure that everyone knows that this I think might have been what's been going on for you, Virgo, feminine, is that you are deciding, you're talking about your value, right? Really deciding, this is what I deserve. This is my value system. This is how I'm going to be treated from this point forward. And if, again, if you can't treat me in that way, that's okay. You can step out, you can drop out and dip anytime that you want, but this is what I'm going to stand for. This is what I deserve. And if you say that, even if it's at a work situation where, it's about, we're talking about coworkers here, and really stating that you need to have relationships in this way where you're respected and that that there's compassion for you when you do speak your truth, when you do look at things truthfully, and honestly, and you let people know what's going on. As long as you're doing it with compassion, again, talking about that, if you're stating the truth, there's no argument there, right? If you're looking at things in a very clear way that is, it's not biased, it's not, there's no underpinning, passive aggressiveness. There's none of that. If you just state the truth clearly as it is, then people can come and go. People can take it and leave it, and that's okay. And I feel like that's, and then there's compassion allowed for that, because it just truthfully is what it is, okay? And so I feel like we're moving forward, feminine, in stating your boundaries, stating your case, everything that you've been working towards learning, that you've been in your tower really reflecting upon, or thinking about work and really reflecting upon what it is that you need. I think that you're getting really close now to stating exactly what your needs are and holding that up. And I guess what I mean is standing behind it. That's what I mean. For the masculine, we have the Five of Swords here, which is interesting. So we've got a little bit of this up and down feeling here, back and forth. This could be the Mercury aspect of what's going on here. But this is the, it's a truce, right? It's I've been fighting, I'm going to put my swords down, but I'm not really happy about it. This guy looks beaten, he looks tired, he's tired of fighting. This is you going back and forth, really trying to move forward. But there's something that you might still be holding on to, masculine. And this could be the idea of this person that you were with, or maybe the idea of what relationship really is. There doesn't have to be a struggle though, okay? It's just as easy to put down your swords and walk away completely from a situation that is troublesome. Maybe this person comes back, or that you're still talking to this person from the past and that you're really trying to move on. But look, this is what I'm seeing here, is that these two people, this relationship that's possible, okay, this is what I'm really hoping towards, is bringing you two together. The truth, the two people that really need to be together. And if I'm talking about all the same relationship, then that's what's going on. But we need to be able to put down, because we've got two cards of struggle in a way. So we really need to put down any kind of struggle and realize that we're all working towards the same thing. We're all working towards a loving, balanced, and nurturing relationship that is truth, that is intuitive, that is beyond any kind of illusion. Because that's our baseline, okay? So let's see what else we have for Virgo for mid-March. Okay, Knight of Wands, excuse me. Knight of Wands for the feminine. Okay, I like that this is coming through. So now the action's moving forward, okay? I feel like once you state your truth, once you make your boundaries known, and you step forward and say, this is what I'm going to allow. I'm not going to allow for anything more or anything less. Yes, I'll allow for more if it's, better. But I'm not going to allow for anything less. You can only treat me in the way that I feel like I deserve to be treated. That's all I'm going to allow for. I'm going to state the truth. And again, if this is emotional, stating your truth as to what happened is, why you went into the tower, why you removed yourself and isolated, maybe to, take care of this wound, this heartache that you had. And it could have been with this relationship that you might have already had. Or, these two people are looking at each other. They're reflecting on each other. But I feel like, again, the feminine is moving towards the masculine. So the Knight is upright for the feminine. The Queen of Wands came out for the masculine, but it came out in reverse. So the Queen here, she is a beautiful balanced card. I think the masculine is feeling a little imbalanced, and it's emotional and activity, right? So the masculine is really trying to work, trying to create, trying to actively move forward in a place that feels better, okay? He's doing his best to heal whatever emotional issues he might have felt, whatever this struggle, whatever the choice that he needed to make in the past. He's really trying to move away from that and towards something else. Why are the cards flipping? Cards are getting crazy. So, and he's just not feeling the balance right now. Now, if this is a couple that already knows each other, if I'm reading a coupled relationship, the masculine is really trying to get past whatever pain that might have been in this relationship. He really wants to feel the success. The feminine is really trying to state what happened, right? And doing it, she might have, there's definitely some hurt that was there, and the wording, the way of communicating wasn't the best, and so the feminine's really working on communicating better. But I feel like the feminine's, again, moving towards the masculine. She's going to make her way towards him in a healing way, in a passionate way, even possibly. The wands are usually about passion and action. So I'm feeling that the feminine is moving towards the masculine, saying, hey, let's make a go, let's do this. Let's make a go of it again. Let's really heal this. And if this is for a couple that doesn't know each other, again, we're talking about this feminine who's really moving towards being open for relationship. The masculine is really working on trying to heal whatever pains there were for him in the past. And then here's our final card. Ooh, the Three of Swords. Okay, so there's our final. So we're trying to heal it, but there's still some healing to be done, okay? And it's in the upright. So the Three of Swords being in the upright is saying that there's grief and there's loss. There is this feeling of it not quite coming together. So let's talk about this. If this is a relationship that we're working towards, the masculine is really trying to release the pain. The feminine is doing her best at speaking her truth in a compassionate way. But what we're ending up with is still, we're in a place where there's still some pain. And the pain might just be that the two can't quite meet yet because there's still some healing to be done on both sides, okay? The feminine might have pulled herself away from the masculine to really work this stuff out and is trying to come forward, and the masculine just isn't feeling the connection, isn't feeling the way in which the two can come together. We're really trying to look past the illusion, okay? So if this is a relationship that might have been based in illusion, it looks like there's going to be some pain here, and maybe it's a breakup, maybe it's a restructuring. There are all kinds of ways to look at the Three of Swords. We don't have to look at it as a heartbreak card, but that's what we see at first, is that, it's the pain of the heart, but it's the pain of the heart because we have attachment to something. So, and that's what we've been talking about, is releasing attachment in this entire reading. So what I'm going to say, the advice here is that if this is a couple together, the only way to get past this pain is for the feminine to be as compassionate with her words as possible, and to move forward in a way that is practical for the masculine. Because, again, you're Virgos, you're practical, absolutely. Masculine, you really have to release whatever this pain and hardship was that you might have felt in this relationship. And even though you're seeing your feminine trying, be open. If you really want to work on this, you have to be open, okay? Because it just seems like you shut everything down here towards the end. Now, if these are two people who don't know each other, who are trying to come together, the thing that will bring you together, I don't like the idea of trauma bonding, but that's what's going to bring you together, is that the two of you going through what you're going through, what will bring you together is that the pain of what you have gone through. And that happens, okay? It does happen in relationships. Start with breakups, right? Where two people broke up with somebody else and then they come together because there's a commonality there. So if this is not a relationship that's happened so far, you might meet someone, or you might come together through that trauma, through that grief. It could be, even in a grief counseling situation where it's an actual place where people are talking about their grief, or it could just be, at your church or in your community center or your spiritual center, where people are openly processing. That's what I'll say. but it could mean that you just, you know, you see each other as friends, or you kind of see that there's some kind of connection, and you're really moving through some grief, and you find a connection together through that grief, getting through the illusion of life, getting through any type of disillusionment. Whew, okay, so this is really heavy, Virgo. I'm gonna just say I really hope this works out in the end. I hope I've given you enough advice. If you are resonating with this, have any questions, please leave me a comment in the box below. Let me know how you're feeling about it. And for now, I'm gonna send you all of my love and all of the best in all of this. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.